So the first thing you need is some polymer clay. I'm using Fumo because it's what I already have, but you can use another brand if you prefer. Cut off the amount you think you'll need. This will be different depending on how big you want your bead to be, but once you've decided how much is enough, then you can begin to condition the clay. This just means making it ready to work with, and you can do this by kneading it in your hands until it doesn't crack or split. When it's nice and soft, start rolling it into a worm shape. The thinner it is, the more fragile it'll be, but keep in mind that the thicker it is, the longer it'll take to bake. When you've got the size and thickness that you're happy with, carefully wind it around a pencil. You can always unwind it to adjust the size if you want. Be aware that the colour of the pencil might affect the colour of the clay that touches it, so some people like to cover the pencil in masking tape before they start. Now that we're finished with that bit, we can move on to making the tentacle suckers. Roll out a small piece of clay like before, only this time much thinner. Cut a tiny piece off the end of the clay and stick it onto the top of the tentacle. Do the same again and stick it next to the first one, and then just carry on like this all the way down. Make sure the pieces of clay get slightly bigger each time, so that the suckers increase in size as the tentacle does. An octopus will usually have 2 rows of suckers on each tentacle, which is how I'm doing this one. However, the number and arrangement of suckers varies among the different species, so you can really do what you want, and it can be as neat or as messy as you like. And that was today's marine biology lesson. Once you pass the halfway point of the tentacle, make sure the pieces of clay start getting gradually smaller again, until the end where the suckers should be the same size as when you started. Sticking them all on can take quite a while. I was trying to be really neat and it definitely took me longer than expected, but be patient and eventually you should end up with something that hopefully looks a bit like this. When you finally finish sticking all of the suckers on, grab a cocktail stick and carefully poke a small hole in the middle of each sucker. This is a really simple idea, but I find that it's so effective in getting the look that I'm going for, and it's such a nice visual touch. Plus, it proves that you don't always need expensive sculpting tools to make something cool. Everything I use can either be found around the house or bought really cheap, and I am all about saving money. Okay, I'm done. This looks pretty cool. I'm happy with it, so now I'm going to bake it. Always bake your clay according to the manufacturer's instructions. I'll put this in for about half an hour and I'll see you then. I'm really pleased with how it turned out, so now let's paint it. I'm doing mine purple to match my hair, but obviously you can do yours whatever colour you want. I got these cheap acrylic paints from the works. They came in a set of every colour except purple, of course, so I'm just mixing my own. Once I'm satisfied with the colour, I'll start painting the bead, making sure it's all covered. When it's dry, I'll paint the suckers again in a lighter purple to make them stand out. You can actually buy polymer clay in different colours, but I prefer to just buy it in bulk and paint it myself. I find it works out cheaper that way. But if you have clay that's already coloured, that's fine, feel free to ignore this bit. So here it is all dry and finished. I'm really pleased with the result. I think it looks really cool. I like the colour scheme as well, it reminds me of Ursula. Very witchy and villainous. I also made a couple of others in different sizes, just to give a bit more of an example of what you can do. Hope you enjoyed the video, hopefully you've been inspired to create some beads of your own. Let me know how it turns out if you do. Thanks for watching.